Hey, welcome to Beyond Beyond the Veil with
William
and Saquita. So here we are,
and Eden. See her?
and Eden's in the background.
Look at her.
Um,
Go on,
we
girl.
we are late today because we had recorded this segment a little while back, and we were trying to get it to upload, and it just never would. So, here we are because we've recorded some other ones, but they go out of order. So the last time we were together, we were talking about Will. We got to the point of here. Can you go get your earphones, please? We got to the point of where Will had gone over to Baylor our Children's. We talked to you about how he would act up whenever he went to a new floor, and we got to the part of not talking about his funeral. So that's where we're going to pick up today. And we know, William, that this is heavy, and this one won't be as heavy. This has some excitement and some comedic humor.
Well, not really. We just made it comedic.
We made it comedic. Yeah, it wasn't funny. So I'm gonna pick up where we have found out that he's passed away. We're at the hospital. We let our family know what's gone on. And we decided at that point we're going to have two services. We're going to have a traditional burial service in Oakwood, which is where my parents lived, and we have a cemetery on our property, and so we decided that that's where we would bury Will. And then we had a memorial here in Dallas at the church that we were attending at the time, to allow for like the people who took care of him to come and see or pay their respects, our local friends and family, people from our jobs and all that kind of. It was beautiful. So we did that. So um the days leading up to July 21st, which was the day that we had his funeral, I'm preparing with the funeral home and the person creating and writing the obituary. And we were real intentional that we didn't want traditional kind of stuff. Will's a baby, so we had lullabies. God Will Comfort You. It's the ABCs of some songs that we played for him when we were at his bedside. And so we're at the funeral. The service is going great. I'll let William take over.
This is where Saquita goes blank. I almost went blank with rage, but I didn't. So end of the service, pallbearers. Will's casket is probably. I can't do it.
Not like
You
this.
can pick it up. You can pick up his casket. It's fairly small. So one of them pick it up, and the other one, I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what they were thinking about. They were in space somewhere, and next thing I know, they dropped the casket on the floor, and I'm just in shock. I'm like, what just happened? And they dropped his casket on the floor, and our dad, uh, mm, he came out of nowhere. I ain't gonna say nowhere. He was at the back. He was watching. He came up. You can tell he was hot. He picked up the casket with our son in it. He didn't fall out of the casket. He almost did. He didn't fall out.
I missed that part.
But Dad closed up the casket, picked up the whole casket, carried it out to the hearse, and put Will in the casket, in the hearse. I mean, to me, it was going through 6 months of that. Spending time with him and praying and hoping, and to for that to happen. And I said, that's just another thing that we had to deal with. I mean, mentally, it's just something that we deal with. But again, Saquita said I guess you don't remember it, or it was a blur. You said a blur.
Yeah, it was a blur. It was a blur.
But I remember that with detail, and I was not.
Well, I remember Dad picking him up and just like going out like he was Hercules with him. But yeah, I don't. I mean, I was there clearly. I remember it happening, but I don't remember it in such vivid detail, I believe, as William does. Um, yeah, I do know that I'm sure that my dad had some choice words for the pallbearers. Um, it was his grandchild, right? He's been living and walking the road with us the entire time. My parents were amazing during the time. Like, they're older, but they were on the road up here probably every weekend to spend time with us. Everybody at the hospital, because remember, Will lived in the hospital. He never made it home. So um not only did we lose a child, they lost their grandson. And probably on top of that, they waited to see their older daughter get married when she was 39 for me to. So I'm sure there were a lot of emotions that my parents went through, not only losing their grandson, but watching their daughter go through the heartache of the loss of a child as well. So, um, for a while after Will passed away, every year we would on the anniversary of his death. So today is July 13th.
Today, July.
Yeah, today's July 13th. Yeah. And so in 3 days, we will be honoring and thinking about our son on the 16th, the day that the Lord called him home. It always, I never really know what that day is going to be like for me. Some I always have the intention to go to work, but it doesn't seem to always. I typically don't stay. This week I put in to just work a few hours and take a half day. It's just things are very on that day when I go to work, it's my patience is real short. I'll be honest. Like, people are worried about what's going on at work and the day, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care if this unbilled inventory goes down today. It can rise as high as it wants. Like, pick your battles with me because today's not the day. But I don't know. Is it different for you? Like, what do you go into?
I just recall one time when I was because one thing I did do after Will passed is I was I became a chaplain at the very hospital that he was in for 6 months. But I didn't go to the hospital that he was at. I was just in the same hospital system. And so one day I remember going to going to work as a chaplain, and I went to put my hand to the door and I couldn't go in. It's like I could not go in. I remember I had to go downtown Dallas to the big hospital where Will was at, and to have to go back up on those floors that we spent so much time on, it was challenging. Um, but again, it's how God walks you through the process of grief. And I'm gonna tell you, grief is very, and I've told Saquita, grief is sneaky. It is it'll sneak up on you out of nowhere. So how do I handle it now? I think it really depends on the year. I think it just depends on the year. I think it depends on the moment, what's going on. Um, I always, when you bring it up, I shed tears because I know you are. So I connect with you in your tears, but sometimes I just try to stay busy. I'm just gonna be honest. I just try to stay busy. So that's how I kind of deal with it.
Yeah. Um, so we'll see what Wednesday brings. July 16th, 2025 brings for now. Like,
He would be what, 16, 17?
25, 28. He will be 17 in December. Okay. So, this is the anniversary of his death. His birthday is in December. So we get through, not through, but yeah, we get through, because that's what people do when you're burying a loved one, right? You get through the funeral, you get through all of the things. People go home and go back to their lives, and you still are sitting in your grief. So that was July. I think in September we went to New York. We went on a trip. The Rangers were really good at that point. And we thought they were going to win the World Series. But not. Anyway, not then. But of course, we did a few years later. But we went on a trip. And then before we started talking about let's, try again, we we actually got pregnant in September, and then we had a miscarriage. And at that point, I think the OB's like, "Why don't you go see a fertility specialist?" So we went to see this really cool doctor here in Dallas, and I had a histiogram where they put dye in your tubes to clear them out, see if there's any blockage. I think you had to check some things too.
Yeah.
And
I
so
had to bring that.
it ain't just on me. Anyway, everything was fine. Everybody came back clear, except that, I'm just AMA, which is advanced maternal age.
Thank you.
Over 35, people who are over 35 who have a baby are called AMA, advanced maternal age.
Stop with the acronym. I don't know what that stuff.
Anyway, so we did that. Everything came back clear. We got pregnant again in December. Well, I was pregnant, but we were pregnant. And so that was, stop it, William. That was December 2010. So pretty much after the histiogram, it like opens up your tubes and makes, there's no trouble with anybody traveling. So I was pregnant and the 1st of December. And in February had a work trip. So that would make me probably around 12 weeks on the work trip. And when I was on my work trip in San Antonio, I spotted. And so the physician group that I work for, there were some maternal fetal medicine doctors there. So I went and had a sonogram, and she heard the heartbeat and everything was fine. William came down to pick me up so I didn't have to fly home because it was a little traumatic. This is pregnancy 3. And we came home. Of course, I had to see my OB. Saw her either the same week or I don't remember the days, the next week. And I think everything was still fine with her, or was it not? I think we went and saw her and we went across the hall to the maternal fetal medicine specialist. And when we went there, the ultrasound tech came in and she left out. And I knew at that moment, didn't want to believe it, but I knew that there was a problem. So then the doctor came in and said they didn't have a heartbeat or find a heartbeat, and that I needed to get scheduled for a DNC.
DNC is?
It's basically, let's have a little education since we're in the time that we're in right now. So if we were living in the time that we are right now, legally, I may not have been able to have a DNC, which is a medical abortion. Yes, basically it is. Like that mom in Georgia who was brain dead that they kept alive so that she could deliver for like 6 months. Anyway, I'm not going to get on that soapbox. But anyway, that's what a DNC is. I can't think of the actual medical words for each of the letters, but basically it is. It's a medical abortion, basically. They clean you out. And so the one thing that I'm like, God can do anything, right? I'm a believer. I believe that he can work miracles. I'm like, their machine is wrong. And so I asked, I don't know if I asked my doctor or them, like, could you hear a heartbeat tomorrow? Could there be something that just is blocking it today? And they're like, no, we do check again before we do the procedure. And so we had the procedure on my parents' anniversary, nonetheless. So it's like all these dates are significant in some way in just about all of our experience, even from our wedding day. Our wedding day was my maternal grandmother's birthday, which as a kid, she was my fave. And I always wanted to get married on her birthday. And every year when I was of marrying age, it would come and pass. I'm like, it's never going to happen. And God worked it out that we met and the timing was perfect. And, February 2nd, 2008 was a Saturday. The dates in our lives are always significant. So I have that, and I'm like, well, we can try again. And William's like, I don't think so.
Now I want to explain.
I don't think it's ugly. Okay, go ahead.
No, it's not, but emotionally, I just think I didn't think we could. I didn't think we could deal with that again. That was you gave birth to Will. He passed. Then you got pregnant again, and we lost that child. Then we got pregnant again, we lost that child. I was just like emotionally, this is hard. Um, then I just thought, well, maybe we just too old.
But there's Sarah.
Whatever. I thought about all that too. I thought about Sarah. I thought Elizabeth. Like, well, they can have a week. I was like, anyway. So I'm like, we God can build our family um, another kind of way. We still deal with the emotions of having kids, but and ultimately, and I'm gonna say it this way: I did not want to lose you. Um, because remember, there was a procedure that you had that I thought we thought something.
That was yours. That was.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
kind of related to that, and
Yeah.
I didn't like that. And
Yeah.
so I didn't want to lose you in the process of having a child. So that's kind of what was behind my thinking at the time. And thankfully she agreed.
Yeah. So
I don't know, did you agree because you agreed, or did you agree like, just go along with it?
no, I agreed. Yeah, would you like to go in? Okay. Yeah, no, I agreed. I honestly just wanted to be a mom. And so excuse me. However it looked and however God wanted to fulfill that purpose. I mean, obviously I was a mom, I had Will, but I wanted to bring a baby home and be able to raise them and that kind of thing. So I went with it because it made sense because the Lord, even though you were like, let's go this way, I obviously prayed about it and the Lord gave me peace about it. And the peace that he gave played out in the timing of being chosen to be, Ethan's parents. Because we started the process then in March of 2011. I Googled search a Christian adoption agency, and Lifetree came up. And when we met the owners, we really worked with one of the owners the most doing this one. But when we met with her, it was amazing. So you had to go through background check, home studies. We had to create a letter that told about us and why we wanted to and what led us here. Um, and then that kind of just goes in a binder that they keep at their office, and potential, birth moms come in and look through it. Now, they had said that it could take longer to, for us to be able to adopt. And so we did that in March. And by the time we got approved to be, adoptive parents, we got a phone call. It was during Memorial Weekend that there was a mom who was going to deliver the next day. And
We said no.
I said no.
No, you thought about it.
I did. I did.
Baggage on that one.
I did think about it, but I knew that I had asked God. I knew what I had asked him for, right? I had said, God, you're leading us down this path. This is what you want us to do. But here's some things that I would like out of this experience. I would like to be able to meet the birth mom. I would like to be able to establish a relationship with the birth mom. I would like to be able to go to a doctor's appointments with the birth mom. Like, I don't want my first meeting with the birth mom to be, here I am in your hospital room. I just wanted a relationship. I wanted to get to know her as much as she would be willing to share. And so saying no was hard because I remembered them saying it could take a while. And then the devil crept in, the enemy knew the thoughts already. So then they fed the thoughts of saying, this might be the only chance you get, the only opportunity. When the opportunity comes around, you may not be ready. You may not have the money to be able to do it. Like all those things. And I had to shut those off with the help of the Holy Spirit and the Lord to know that you promised me this and you will bring it to fruition in your time. And so that was like Memorial Day weekend. And then, I mean, not 2 weeks later did I get a phone call when I was in a meeting at work. And I recognized the number, and it was the agency saying, "We have a mom who'd like to meet y'all. Can y'all come tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yes." Um, and so we went there and we met the birth mom and her sister and looked at her little belly. So this was June. So yeah, so she was 8 months. She was due the next month. So I did get to go to a couple doctor's appointments. I got to meet the doctor um, that was going to deliver. We didn't know at the time that you have to be at the hospital with the birth mom as soon as the kid's delivered until they get discharged.
Who was in the same room with her when she delivered?
You didn't go in.
Yes, I did.
You did. Oh, you just sat on the couch. Yeah.
Remember, I was in the corner.
Yeah, you just sat in the corner.
Yeah, I was over there doing what I was doing. I'm like, I can't believe I'm sitting in this room with y'all. But anyway, go ahead.
So he was due on July 16th, the day that little Will passed away. And in my mind, I'm like, yes, what a sign is that, right?
He didn't stop speaking.
What a sign. And the birth mom knew because we told about it in our story, right? And when that day came and passed, we were both disappointed.
Yeah.
I remember being really disappointed about it. I'm like, dang. And so she was what, 5 days late?
Mm-hmm.
So 5 days later, on the 21st in the evening, we got the phone call, you need to come to, to the hospital. So we get there and it's going to be a long night. And after we passed July 16th, my prayer to God was, okay, July 21st, replace that day of pain with a day of joy and excitement for me. And I think Ethan was born like shortly after 1 a.m. on July 21st. Like, I can't write the story. I tell you dates matter, and dates matter. Like, I couldn't have written the story any better. So he had a big head, so the doctor had to use forceps to get him out.
Still
Come
got
out.
a big old
And I got to cut his umbilical cord. They wrapped him up and cleaned him up, whatever, and gave him to my arms. And so we were with him for a little bit, and then they took him to the nursery when we went back to the hotel to get rest, and then we had to be back at the hospital 8 in the morning. Because back then, well, I mean, even today, your baby typically stays in the room with you. That's where they are. So we were there with the birth mom in the room, and the adoption counselor would be there. Funny story, and you can butt in anytime you want, but
you're doing pretty good, man.
Okay, we were, I don't know, maybe day 2. Mom and Dad came up there, didn't they? Yeah. So Mom and Dad came to see him at the hospital, but I think it was day 2. The birth mom's friends came,
Oh yeah.
and so we left out, but I don't know how Ethan stayed in there. I thought we had. I don't know. I think we just stepped out to give them just a little bit her some privacy. But we were in the lounge, and I don't think we were gone that long. And the nurse came and she said, "Can you please come get your baby?" Because he was crying. And I don't know this for fact, but I feel like the friends were starting to like question and pressure her in a different direction. So it was an amazing experience. It was weird, I will say, just being there. Because, yeah, even though we had at that point known her at least 6 weeks, you don't really know her. But you know that she is doing the most selfless and amazing thing that any woman could do for a couple. Like, is, she is an angel. Yeah, she's an angel. And she never held him, but she did get pictures and stuff with him. Like, we took different little pictures, and the adoption counselor did the same. But So we brought him home. She went her way and we came our way. And so day 3, the day of discharge is when she officially signs over her parental rights. And then the father's rights are
Took a little longer.
taken away 30 days afterwards. And then the adoption is not final for 6 months after you come home from the hospital with the child in the state of Texas. That's how it is. We were able to make ours official with Ethan about 5 months, December 17th, 2011. Our adoption was final with him. It's beautiful. They do it in Tarrant County. No matter where you adopt here in North Texas, Tarrant County is like, there's a judge there. I can't remember his name, but there's teddy bears and all kinds of things. It's a huge, huge deal. People everywhere, our friends and family from far and near came up to celebrate the adoption. And then we had his christening at home. It was just so, so beautiful. It was just beautiful. You got something to add?
No, it was beautiful. Okay. Look, you have more detail, like you dates, and I don't remember all that stuff. I just remember the events. The dates slipped past me. Um, I do know that February 2nd is a very important date, and February 17th is a very important date, and July 21st and May 22nd. I mean, not May 22nd, and April 22nd. I know those dates are important because our anniversary.
Oh, it's okay. It's just thin came on.
The day we met and our 2 kids. So those are important dates.
I didn't see.
But we wanted to recap. I mean, this wasn't exactly how that episode went.
Yeah.
But we needed to redo this to connect what we talked about in the first episode. I think we in the third episode we talked more about this one that keeps running around. The Eden.
Did you forget her name?
No, I didn't. She's just everywhere. They are I can say they're opposites. They're just different. Ethan is real low key.
Yeah. Yeah.
Low key, soft spoken, big teddy bear, calm, relaxed until you two want to get into it with each other. And this one doesn't stop moving
At all. She is going from the moment her eyes open till they shut. Like for real, for real. So just to like sum up this episode, God blessed us with Ethan 2 years to the date exactly that we interred little Will's body back to the earth and surrendered his spirit um back to God. Like 2 years to the date. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Dates totally in our family have such significant meaning. And so I would encourage you guys who come and, listen to this to think about dates, to think about, and I've said this in another episode, stuff doesn't happen by happenstance. It just doesn't. It may feel like it in the moment that, oh, that's just a coincidence. It couldn't be, but it very well is. I'm pretty certain that it is because God doesn't make mistakes. He is intentional with his actions and his love for you. He just is. He just is. He just is that good. He's that great. He's that amazing that knowing that how he brought us together and how we would meet and what his plans for our lives together was going to look like we couldn't have written it. We probably separately and even collectively thought when Will passed away that it was done for, right? That there was nothing else to do. There was nothing else that was going to matter. And I would just encourage you, if you feel like you're in that moment where you're like, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't, do it. Lean into what God is telling you to do. People don't have to understand it. He didn't ask for them to understand it. He wants you to understand it. And he wants you to be secure in his word and allow him to walk it out with you, carry it out with you, hug it out with you, whatever it is with you. Like, that's what he is looking for. You have anything to add?
I want to add that, and I don't know if you mentioned this in another episode, but this was a promise fulfilled. Saquita was carrying around, when I met her, she had a picture of a girl and a boy in her Bible. And her favorite scripture was Jeremiah, was it 20?
For I know the plans.
Yeah,
29.
the plans that I have for you. Mm-hmm. And she would always lean on it. There's another scripture you had too, was Psalms.
Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Yeah. 37:4.
And so those two scriptures stuck out to me. And she held on to those promises, even though we went through the natural process of carrying. Well, she went through the natural process of carrying 3 children, and it looked like failure, but it was, in our eyes, it was success because it prepped us, it strengthened us. The key thing that it did for us, it drew both of us closer to the Father. It also drew us closer together. Something that probably should have divided us. Something that probably should have, if we just sulked in our own grief, could have set us on 2 different paths away from each other. Yeah. But it didn't.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the foundation of our relationship. And we said this before we even got married. You're his daughter. I'm his son. Before we are anything to each other, we are his kids. We're his children. And so when I get upset, she get upset, we don't, well, we quietly. We quietly, walk around the house with tension.
Not for long, though.
And I will say this, ladies, why is it so hard to say, I'm sorry? You know you're wrong.
Is that what this episode is about? Because I'm pretty sure it's not.
No, it's not. But it just why, ladies, can y'all not take out the trash? Okay, we can go.
I took trash out today. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Anyway, so
we're grateful.
No, wait. So what I did learn in our 17, 18 years together is her love language and her body language. It may not come out of her mouth, but no.
Not really? The face don't face with you?
No, it's not the face.
Oh, okay.
It's the apology thing. I'm sorry, because you don't say that.
Oh, yeah.
It's what you do.
I do sometimes. Yeah, I'm getting better.
So, where was that? He fulfilled the promises in our lives. He gave us, he blessed us.
William.
Huh? What?
Look.
He blessed us with 2 kids. That was the joy of his daughter's life. I wasn't going to say I'm too old to have kids, and I wasn't going to say that because that's what he put us together. He knew what she wanted. He knew also what I wanted, and he fulfilled it, and he continues to fulfill his promises in our lives. So that's what I have.
Absolutely does. So anyway, we're so grateful that you guys have watched this podcast today. Please share it with anyone that you feel could be impacted by anything that we have said or shared. Our next episode, we will get into more about 2020 and how little Eden came into our lives. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great evening. Thanks for joining Beyond the Veil with
William
and Saquita. Bye.